So spring is here, and every spring it reminds me of times I go out and my grandpa taught me how to fish. So let's do something with that. What do you think? So, if you haven't figured out from the intro yet, we are making a fishing-based product today. I'm going to start with some quarter-inch thick acrylic. This will become the lid. Going to cut it into 6-inch strips so I can cut it into 6-inch squares. So this plan, I'm using 6-inch, 3/4 inch thick stock, 6x6 by 3/4 inch. It's going to be the base of the box. So here you can see I am cutting out the square for the lid. So if you have leftovers from other projects, this is a nice project to use those pieces with. This is actually leftover Padauk from the heart box in the last video. And I'm using a 1/4 inch down cut bit for this to keep the edges nice and crispy. And then I'm going to use a 30-degree V-bit to engrave my little fish on the rod here. You'll see that later. To cut out the acrylic, I'm using an O-flute. It's a single flute bit. It's a 1/4 inch, designed for plastics and foam. That acrylic you cut really fast at over 100 inches per minute, or else it will melt. And you want to cut it, not melt it. These oscillating saws work so well for cutting these tabs on things. The acrylic didn't like it too much, but it melted through it. You can see that in the corners there's little holes there. Those are going to be for the magnets that we're going to put in here next to hold this lid on and make it sturdy. You know, I haven't done much fishing since high school, but growing up with my grandpa, it was a really important part of growing up, I guess, for me. I remember the fishing trips more than I remember the trip to Disneyland. You know, when you're that age, you want to sit at the grown-ups table, you want to be involved in the grown-up conversations, family gets together, and you're always pushed to the side. Going fishing with Grandpa was a grown-up thing that I got to do. It helped instill with me a sense of self-reliance, responsibility, and it's about time that I pass this on to my grandchildren. But I can't have my flies in just a regular fly box. So here we are, making a Padauk fly box. But, so I'm putting in these neodymium magnets. They are 1/4 inch by an 1/8 inch thick, and I'm putting one in each corner. And then I put one in each corner of the lid as well. You can see me pulling off the blue painter's tape here. I put that on there as a protective layer while I was engraving and cutting it out. And I left it on there till after the magnets were secured, so that any squeeze out would be on the blue tape and not on the acrylic. It worked really well, and I actually had to try this a couple times before I figured this one out. If you don't have the tape on there, pieces of acrylic will attach to the bit, and when they do, they spin around and will ruin the surface right along the edge of your engraving. It's not pleasant. So either get acrylic that has masking tape already on it this had plastic on it, and I didn't want to try and engrave through the plastic because I knew that would catch on the bit. So I cleaned that off and then put this blue painter's tape on there, and it worked really well. So I made sure that all the magnets were polarized the same direction so that this lid will fit on the box in any orientation. Since the box is symmetrical, the lid can just snap on whichever direction you like. This is my first time working with acrylic, and I must say I really like it. I have a couple projects in the future with acrylic that hopefully you'll see down the road. Of course, sanding it down and getting the edges all smooth and lined up. This also has the added benefit of frosting the edge of the acrylic as you sand it, which I like that look. It's sort of modern, and if you take your time, you can get some nice even frosting on there. And then I finish up with some hand sanding here, and I'm going with the grain and down the acrylic so that all the lines in the frost go the same way with the acrylic. That way it just looks more uniform and a little less hand done. Alright, so we are about finished. So I take and put my brand on it, and then I finish these off with some glossy Varathane, just rattle can spray style. And we'll see those right about now. So here's how it works out. Magnets are pretty strong. They'll hold the lid out there even with just two of them. And yeah, start filling it with some of my old flies. If you would like one of these, I'll make you one. You can order them on my website. It's a good way to help support the channel. They're not super expensive. And if you like what I'm doing here, you can also join my new Patreon page. There is a link below, and I've got special things happening for those who are Patreon subscribers. Let's turn this into a nice little community. I also want to hear about things that you've made, things that ideas you've had, and let's share them together. But for this project, I wanted something nice, so when I took my grandson fishing, I had a nice box ready to go. And here's the beauty shots. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my Patreon page for plans and bonus content, as well as HarndenWoodworks.com if you see anything on here you would like to purchase yourself.